Hello students, welcome to this online course of engineering mechanics. So today we are going to start our new topic, that is springs. So what is a spring? Spring is defined as an element used to achieve a flexible joint between two parts or bodies. So in like you are having a cantilever beam and we want to provide this kind of support. We want this support to be flexible, okay, so that it can deform under this load. If load is P, so the spring will compress as per its nature. So you can see that previously it was not flexible, but after introduction of spring, this joint has become what? Flexible. So this is one of the applications. There are many examples where you will see spring is useful. But in civil engineering, it is not of that use as much. We are using the springs in the mechanical engineering. So in machines, in your vehicles also you might have seen the shock absorbers are there. So they are nothing but the spring with a higher stiffness. So when flexibility in a mechanical system is desired or it is required to absorb the energy of suddenly applied load, springs are employed. So in your bikes or in your cars or any of the vehicles, you can feel that when there is a depression on the road, so you are not feeling that much of exertion. Why? Because the shocks are absorbed by the springs. You can just check it in your vehicle that there is a very strong, very thick springs are there, which are placed nowadays. Like there are at the rear side as front side as well as the rear side, but previously it was only at the rear side only. But now with the advanced technology, we are providing springs at the both sides to make the ride comfortable for the driver or the rider. Okay, so what is the function of spring? To absorb the energy when the load is suddenly applied. Gradually applied also it can absorb, but it is used for suddenly applied loads. So the different types of leaf springs that are commonly encountered are: first is leaf spring, second is helical spring, and third is flat spiral springs. So let us see one by one what are these, why the different names has been assigned to different types of springs. So let us see. First is leaf spring. Leaf spring also known as carriage spring. Why they are called as carriage spring? Because they are widely used in all forms of transport vehicles. So they are basically used for carriages. The vehicles which are being used in for transportation, they are having the one is the cabin in which driver is seated, and the second part is carriage, on which inside which we are putting the goods. So to make it like jerk free, we are providing leaf spring there. So this also you might have seen in your, like you can just check any of the trucks, you can easily see, or the buses, you can see this spring easily. Because of its shape, the spring is also called as semi elliptical spring due to its shape only. Leaf springs are made up of a number of leaves, that is why its name is termed as leaf, because various leaves are there of varying length but of equal width. So length is different but equal width, and thickness and width is same, only changing parameter is length, and placed in a lamination and loaded as a beam. So this we can see from this figure. So what is, so you can see these are the leaves, 1 2 3 4 5 leaves are there. So thickness is same, but you can see length, it is the longest, so that is why it is termed as master leaf. So this type of spring, I am sure that you might have definitely seen it in the trucks or in the buses. So basically we have number of plates which are joined together to form these kind of springs, and these kind of springs can absorb the vibrated load that gets transmitted from the vehicle. These plates are called as leaves, and that is why this spring is named as leaf spring. So there is a clamps. So what we are going to do, we are taking this type of plates. Okay, different plates we are placing here and we are clamping it. What we are going to do, we are clamping here. So it is not a spring, it is made up of plate and it is acting like a spring. Okay, it is not just like spring you might have seen, like spring is something like this or like this you might have seen, but this is the true spring. But here we are making use of plates to create a spring like body which is absorbing the energy. Okay, clamps which hold all plates positioned together and there are clips which are called rebound clips to keep the spring in position. Okay, so next one is helical spring. What is helical spring? Helical springs are commonly used to absorb shocks. These are used in railway buffers. So here this also I guess you have seen. So this is one bogie. Okay, here second bogie, just like this, and here third bogie. These are the bogies of a train. Okay, so here you might have seen that this kind of spring is there. Why this is used? If suddenly this is moving in this direction, but what is happening, suddenly brakes are applied, so this will stop here, but this is having some momentum, so it will try to like hit this one and it will try to hit this one. So what this spring is doing, this will absorb energy here, this place. Okay, so these are used, these type of spring are used in railway buffers. Helical spring are of two types, closed and open. We will see them in detail. And next type of spring is flat spiral springs. These are generally used in toys and clock mechanism. So in toys sometimes you have seen, and if you open your clock, wristwatch or that wall clock, you will see a spring. This type of spring is there. Apart from the type described, like three types we have described, leaf, helical and flat, there are other types of spring also which are used in some specialized case. So they are not common. We are trying to discuss the commonly used springs. So that is Belleville, disc, ring and volute spring. So these are some specialized springs. If somebody is asking, you can tell these springs also. Now let us see what is a closed coiled helical spring. So closed coil helical spring are those in which the angle of helix is so small that if the axis of spring is vertical, the coils may be assumed to be in a horizontal plane. So the angle is very small. Helix angle is very small. Let me show you what is this helix spring. Helix angle. So this angle is very small. This phi is very small. Just for showing purpose, I have make it very large, but in reality it will be something like, not like this, wait, it will be like this. So this angle is, you can see it is very small. Okay, so such springs may be acted upon by an axial or an axial torque, axial load or axial torque. When they are acted by an axial load, there is axial extension, and when there is an axial torque, there is a change of the radius of curvature of the spring due to twisting. So under first what only we are going to see this only, because the springs in detail you are going to study in your strength of mechanics. Okay, so here we are just using this lecture to just introduce the spring thing. You can get the essence of spring, how we are going to deal it in detail. So first case is, the one case we are going to deal is under axial load. So you can see here the load is acting axially here it is acting parallel to the axis of the, this is your axis, and if load is passing through this axis, that load will be termed as axial axis, axial load. So P is the axial load. So let me just, so these are the parameters. So capital D is your mean coil diameter, capital R is mean coil radius, you can see in the diagram. Small d is wire diameter, the wire which is being used for making of this spring. Theta is the total angle of twist along the wire, how much twisting has been done. Deflection is the how much this point of application of load has been displaced, so that is the deflection of the spring. N is number of coils. These coils, these are the coils. So spring is something like this in real, like if you will see, so these are coils. Okay, 1 2 3. So N is number of coils, how much coils are there in that spring. And L is total wire length, so here it is L. Okay, now the torque is what? Distance into the force. So force is P and maximum distance is R, that is radius. And work and torque will be, due to this torque the angle theta will be developed, that is the angle of twist. But due in virtual work we have seen these two works will be same, so half P delta is equal to half T delta, T into theta. So here you can see that delta is R into theta. So if we are able to calculate this theta, we will be able to calculate the deflection. But we know that theta is TL upon GJ. So for time being, I just want you to remember this. We will, if somebody like in the centometer, you will be deriving this formula. So for the time being, I am just giving, just take it as an information that theta will be TL upon G into J. So T is the torque applied, but due to which the angle is, the twist is coming. Length is the total length. G is the modulus of rigidity, not elasticity. Elasticity was E. Here it is G. G is modulus of rigidity. When shearing force is there, shearing stress there, then it will come into picture. J is polar moment of inertia. This we have studied. Okay, so total length will be how much? The perimeter of one coil multiplied by N, that is, if N is the number of coils, turns, then it will be total multiplied by N, so 2 pi r into N. Polar moment of inertia, we know pi by 32 d raised power 4 for circular cross section. G and J I have just discussed. So just put these values. The value of T is how much? P into R. Length is 2 pi r into N. Just put all the values in this formula. So you will get theta as this, and multiply this with R, you will get deflection. So this deflection is very, very important. Just this, in the previous year there was I think 10 marks question from this formula, direct formula. So you have to, everything was given, you have to just calculate the theta. Okay, so let us try to solve one problem. A closed coil helical spring having 24 turns is made of 8 mm diameter wire. The mean diameter of the spring is 80 mm and it carries a load of 250 Newton. Determine the deflection and the stiffness of the spring. So everything is given. What you have to do, P is given, D is given, just put the value, deflection here. And what is stiffness? Stiffness is the load per unit deflection. How much load is required to deflect this spring by delta. So this is your deflection. So P is given, delta we have calculated. So it is coming out to be 3.5 Newton per mm. This is the stiffness of the spring. Stiffness is nothing but the load required to cause unit deformation. This is your stiffness. So K is nothing but P upon delta. So this K is your deflection, that is load required to cause unit deformation. If delta is equal to 1, then K will be equal to P, because delta is 1. So from here you can see that the stiffness. Now let us see if the spring can have in different combinations. So they can be in the series, they can in the parallel, or maybe the combination of both. So these are just like resistance, which you have seen in your electrostatic classes. So when two springs of different stiffness are joined end to end, so you have to check the springs are joined end to end. You can see here. So this is series combination. And if they are not joined and they are having a common deflection, you can see if W is here, so K1 and K2 spring will deflect by same amount. So this is parallel. So if the springs are in series, then what is going to happen? Total deflection will be the deflection due to spring 1 added by deflection due to spring 2. So this is principle of superposition. Now the total load, the delta will be how much? W by K equivalent. We want to calculate the equivalent. If we want to replace these two springs and we want to put a single spring of stiffness K equivalent, we want to calculate this, the value of this K equivalent. So total deflection W will be same for both the spring. So W by K1 plus W by K2. So from here you can get this formula. So 1 by K equivalent is equal to 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2. So K equivalent will be how much? K1 K2 upon K1 plus K2. Just simplify this equation, you will get this value. So this is the equivalent if the springs are in series and we want to replace these spring by a single spring. So that spring should have the stiffness of this value. But what if the springs are in parallel? For parallel, we have to see the deflection. If the springs are having the common deflection, then they will be termed as they are in parallel. So parallel, they are having the deflection common. So that means delta will be W by K equivalent will be equal to W by K1 will be equal to W by K2, because delta is same. But total W will be sum of W1 plus W2, load taken by this spring plus load taken by this spring. So from this you can replace W1 and W2. W1 will be K1 into delta, W2 will be K2 into delta. Delta will get cancelled out and you will get the simple sum of these two stiffnesses. So this is all in your course regarding the spring chapter. In the next class, we are going to start our stress and stress concept, simple stress and strain. So this is all for today. Thank you.